Wow, 22 already. Anyway, 9:30 here in sunny Spain. I've got an hour of questions and answers. I'll be honest, guys, I've got loads of questions this week. I don't think I'm going to fit them in the game like I did last week. And I've got to apologise for that because some of the questions are from last week. I also found some other questions on the Facebook group that I forgot about. I've got, I think, about 20 questions. I'm not going to get through them all tonight, so I'm not going to gabble on too much about that. But what I will ask, guys, is don't put any questions on tonight because I can't, I'm not going to answer them for a couple of weeks. I've just invested myself in a printer because my writing is awful. Trying to read my own writing is a nightmare. But anyway, tonight's questions, hopefully I can get through, is do I edit my videos? What type of food is tapas? Bringing personal stuff over to Spain, Spanish language, Idealista, are any good? Spanish digital signature and the UK. Why car rentals so expensive at the moment? What else have I got? Oh yeah, rental agencies in Campusol, Wi-Fi strength on Campusol, many expats becoming alcoholics, and expats returning to the UK in droves. Now I won't get through all these. I'm not seeing the comments at the moment, but what I will do, I'll just come through the my usual stuff. And obviously Lobster is my main promoter, so I've got to promote them. Obviously, I don't know if you know, guys, but they've changed their thing now. But I've got a good deal with Lobster. If you didn't know, you're not contracted to them. So if you didn't, after you've been a month or so, you don't want to be with them, you can always sign off. But they're the only English-speaking site in Spain. Don't forget, it's for Spain only, guys. But if you phone this number, which is free, which is 711-000-711, and on the promotion to say Expat and Mazarron, what they will do, they will send you a free SIM card, and the first month, depending on what deal you want to do, is free. So that can't be bad. So I've done the Lobster thing. Another one, which is pretty good, which is Currencies Direct. The cup's over there, which is obviously a money transfer site. Now, I know there are probably other companies that might do a little bit better on the exchange rate, but the reason why I like Currencies Direct, where I am on campus, so they actually got an office. We're not all savvy with the computer. If you've got a problem, especially when you're buying property, you're sending over huge amounts of money, you can actually do it in the office to feel a little bit safer. So Currencies Direct, if you just mention Expat and Mazarron, I'll just get some money out of that. But that'd be most appreciated. Now, the coffee fund. God, last week, the week previous, you get nothing. But this week, top people. Now, obviously, the coffee fund's not about buying me a coffee as such. It's about supporting me going out, paying for my fuel, obviously visiting places. It does cost money. I've just bought myself a printer as well because my writing's getting so bad that I can hardly read half of it. So I bought myself a printer. But the coffee fund is a big help for me. And I've got to say a big thank you for these people because they know who they are. I've got to say, Bruce, top man. Now, some of them actually wrote me a personal message, which I must appreciate. Thank you much, guys. Ralph, top man. Trixie, top lady. Jean, another top lady. And Martin, top people. I must appreciate for the coffee fund. It does help me a lot. And yeah, so thank you much, guys, for the coffee fund. Expat in Mazarron merchandise. Now, obviously, we do the T-shirts, we do polo shirts now, but they do other things. I haven't got it on me now. I haven't got the mouse mat, but we got a cup. You can have an Expat in Mazarron subscribers cup. I mean, they do other things, but there's a link below this video. There's a link on the previous videos. But I know some people have bought some merchandise recently. guys, can I have a photograph? And you get yourself recognised. And I've got a Frank this week, a couple that come knocking on the door. Guy, I most appreciate seeing you. And that is Bruce and Alison. They've got a property here on Campus Sale. They bought the property quite before me thinking about it. And because of the COVID, this is the first time they've been out for a couple of years, really. So I can see them. Yes, Bruce and Alison, top people. I saw you again in the week as well. But guys, if you do see me, just come up to me. I won't run away. Well, I'll try not to run away. But anyway, Alison and Bruce, thank you much. Top people. Okay, I think I've done all that now. Now, don't forget, over the previous months and whatever, the thing was lightly getting off track a bit, but now it is the Q&A, the Q&A that's live. But I also want to get you guys involved. So we've got 48 in the house. Okay, that's good. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put on the intro, and then we go straight into it. Okay, we're ready. So the first question is from Sue. Now, Sue will probably know who she is. And what she's asking is, when the videos are taken of villas, homes up for sale, are they edited by the time they are put onto YouTube, etc., not to show any of the negative sides of the property? Obviously, she's on about me when I do the property videos. Now, I'll be honest, Sue, I'm obviously going to edit them in some way, but what you see mainly is me going around with my GoPro. I use a GoPro for inside the properties because you get a wider look of the property. What I tend to do is obviously edit out the bits. Me going up the staircase because it takes me a long time to get out there. I'm huffing and I'm puffing, and you don't want to hear that. But what I do, obviously, when I turn up at a property, I have a quick look. What I tend to do is get myself in the property, have a quick look around the rooms to make sure what they are, and also open up the windows to bring in some light. But other than that, that's it. I think years ago, when I was back in the UK, when I was doing it for a business, because the other thing is, guys, I don't get paid for this. I don't get no money if those properties get sold. I just do it as a favour to Vinny. He's been really good to me over the years. And I don't really need to, because some of the properties I do go in, and I do tend to go into properties that are empty. I don't like going in properties that they've got people in there, but they tend to hang around and we get talking and I can't really get on with it. But what I do, like I just said, I do have a quick look around, because if you watch my videos, I'll go into a room and I can't remember what the ceiling fan's called, so I'll call it a whirly thing. Or I'll go into the kitchen or bathroom and I'll see a dishwasher that looks like a tumble dryer or whatever. What you see is what you get virtually. And some people have said, which is pretty true, obviously with the GoPro, it does make the room look a lot bigger than what it is. And obviously once people, I always say to people, look at the video, but come and have a look yourself. Some people don't. They go and buy it. But most people will watch the video and then come over, book an appointment, have a look. And they do say sometimes when they go in the bedroom, it's smaller than they thought. That's something I can't really rectify other than me walking around the room. Obviously, try and show. It doesn't make any difference to me if I mean, obviously, I'm not going to go in a house with massive cracks on the roofs and things like that. Now, I know a while back, I went up on the roof and I thought I saw a snake, but what it was, somebody had lobbed up a rubber snake. And as I was coming up with the camera, I nearly had a heart attack. I edited that bit for sure. But anyway, I'm just having a quick look at the comments. Anyway, guys, I'm not going to say hello to everybody because that's what drags it on a bit. But I want to most appreciate everybody that said hello so far. So, Sue, I don't really edit the videos really. I haven't got much time. I try and show as much as I could. I mean, another thing of what I do try and do is when I'm up on the roof, it's not too windy, as you can listen. You know, there's no massive building site or dogs howling, things like that. What you hear is what is there virtually, which is pretty good as well. So I only partly edit it, Sue. Next question from Sue again. Sorry for this dual question, but what is a tapas? But I have no idea, which is fair enough. And what sort of type of food is it? So I've got that written down. So what I'm going to do now, kind of put up a picture of a tapas. Now I went to a place not far from me in El Paraton. The Welcome Inn. Now they do a tapas. Now, because it's tapas, it doesn't mean it has to be Spanish. Now these dishes here is a sort of a mixture. I think the guy that cooks this is a bit of a Caribbean. There's a sort of a Caribbean twist to it. And don't even ask me what's on the table there, other than there's lovely bits of food. I wrote something down about what's a tapas. I can't find a paper now. Oh, yeah. Well, a tapas is an appetizer or a snack, maybe hot or cold. Small dishes, obviously. Might be breads, meat, stuffed mussels, fried squid, olives, mushroom, and vegetables. Like I said, it doesn't all have to be sort of fishy things, you know, like octopus legs and things like that. It can be like curried potato. You can see some onion rings there. And obviously, another thing about it is people they order a load of these dishes and everybody helps themselves. Now, if you can see my cursor right in the I had fish and chips, but all the other guys that come in that day had a tapas, they all loved it. Funny enough, we went back today to have a tapas. I had what did I have? I had oh god, I can't think what I had now. Chips and lasagna. That's it, on a meat lasagna. Whereas my wife Jan, she had a tapas. She had 3 bowls. I can't remember, but anyway. So don't worry. There are actually places down in Mercia City that's actually tapas bars. You would go in there. It's like being in a bakery. They got things laid out on the shelves, and you can pick what you want, like little sandwiches. So hopefully, Sue, that's answered the question. So let's go back to the comments because I'll put my comments back on. Campus Hold Caps are just started up. Campus Hold Caps. Oh, right. That's all right. No, am I got that right, Mandy? Campus Hold Caps just started up. Don't know what you mean. Expat and Mazarron caps, maybe. Anyway, okay, getting back onto the questions. Right, the next one is from a he doesn't want to have his name mentioned. I know he is, but he knows where he is, but he doesn't want to be put out there. You mentioned someone being fined €700 for bringing stuff back to Spain. Do you think we could be penalised and be asked to pay custom duties on these personal items at the border control? What's your experience if you bought back? And this was obviously, I'm going to show you this picture now, so you know what I'm on about. Okay. Well, I've just lost it. Here we go. Now, what it is, they come over. Obviously, they got a holiday home, and they bring over all their sort of cleaning, cleaning stuff. Really, like fairy liquid. I can see there, washing up powder, and all those sort of things. Now, what it was, I actually read a comment a couple of weeks ago. This couple were driven down to Spain, but they'd gone on to the boat, and as soon as they got off the boat at Santander, I believe, they got stopped by the customs. Now, they said their personal belongings. Now, obviously, I think what they're on about is probably clothing. Maybe they had some electrical goods. I don't know, but the customs actually find them. Now, I do know now when you're sending stuff over from the UK to here, especially if it's big stuff, you all have to pay a custom fee on it, and that's been big problems. And I'm just going to knock that off now and see what's in the comments. If anybody's had the same sort of thing. Oh, new legal taxi services based on Campusel, right? Okay. I'm just seeing one there about Trixie. Okay, I'll answer that quickly for you, Trixie. The reason why they all got different names, it just makes it in the people that matter that built all these properties. Obviously, when you're looking, it makes it easier for them to. You're interested in a Neptuno, say for instance, because it's got 3 bedrooms, one actually up on the top, and it just makes it easier for the estate agents what properties you're after, really. So yeah, they all got sort of names. I think most places you go to, you'll find on urbanizations, the property will have some sort of name. Makes it easier for the agent, and also it makes it easier for you, especially looking for a 2-bed place or one, a 2-bed, 1 bath or 3-bed, whatever. But yeah, anyway, going back to that. Now, as far as I know, what I wrote down on there, all I know is you can't bring in any meat or milk products. If you do bring in milk and meat products, you have to have a veterinary license, which costs money, obviously. But most times, you're going to have to pay a penalty for that. And what it says on there, essential medical reasons, like obviously if you've got a baby, powdered milk, infant food, certain kinds of pet food, if the dog or the cat has had to have some sort of medical diet. Anyway, what I do have here is if you go on to www.Spaininfo, travel tips, custom regulations, hopefully that will give you a bit more. As far as I can see, not much going on in the old comments there. We got 71 in the house, which is pretty good. Okay. So that question's out the way. I can turn that page over now. That was last week's question. Even though I found some more, believe it or not. But I'm going on to today's questions. Right, the first one was from Stafford, and he was asking about what's the difference between a para. Anyway, I'm not going to go on to it. It's about Spanish words. No point in asking me about what's the meaning of Spanish words and how they're pronounced and what Spanish context they mean. What I would say to you, Stafford, why don't you contact Spain Speaks? What's his name now? Get his name now. Yes, contact Spain's Stuart from Spain Speaks. He's actually a Spanish teacher now. He actually teaches English. Best person to ask, Stafford. Not me. I can't even speak some English words. So anyway, so that one straight out the window. Number 4 got onto that. Now I've got, I think it's chamois. If it is, I'm sorry if I got it wrong, but that's the way I read it. Anyway, he was on about a lot of advertising on Idealista. Are they private advertisers rather than estate agents? Is this normal? Do they have the same rights as buying from agents? Right. Now, Idealista, now I don't think did I put a picture on that? Let's have a look. No, I didn't. Sorry. Right. I had a quick look on Idealista and I couldn't see no adverts on there other than obviously Idealista's own stuff that they put up like little word in there about buying a house or whatever. It's a pretty good site. Also, obviously, it's for this the Spanish. Now, I don't know if I pronounced that wrong. I will spell it out. Maybe I got it wrong. I don't know. So it's spelled. I'll find it now. Where is it? Got. This is why I've got the printer now, because my writing's all over the place. All right, Idalista, which is IDEALISTA. Now it is a pretty good site. It pins you down, pins you right down to the area that you're after, especially here in Spain, because Spain's a vast country. You can virtually draw your own area, what you want to, what you're after. You can put your price limit. You can put all the information on there. But I think what Samuel was trying to say, it was covered in adverts. Now, maybe I don't know. I mean, I'm using a Mac and I use Safari and I don't have nothing coming up. Maybe, I don't know what you call them, these thingies that you sometimes when you open up a website, it comes up with a lot of rubbish on there. But I didn't find nothing. I went on to Chrome. I still didn't find nothing. I mean, obviously, a lot of websites do rely on advertising to make their money. I haven't got a website. But anyway, hopefully, looking at that. So, just looking at the comments there. Still nothing. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. Stuart. I wonder if... Right, he's got here, Stuart. I wonder if it goes across borders, i.e. UK bank account statements on a Spanish digital signature. So what is on about? Obviously, we talked about that the other week about digital signatures and digital certificates. Can it be used in the UK? Now, I've checked on this, and as far as I could see, you can use it. It did say, as from since 2002, digital signatures from Spain have been recognised, but that was to do with the EU. But obviously, wills, if you I think most places now do like you have a Spanish will and an English will, and I think now you actually have to have a separate one now, especially if you've got a large amount of money in the UK. You have to have a separate will now. Don't quote me on that. That's what I've seen. But I think after Brexit, who knows? There's been so many things that have changed after Brexit of this year. Are they still recognised? Obviously, because it's an EU thing. I don't know. And I'm sure nobody's saying nothing at the moment. So, Stuart, I don't know. I think before last year, it seemed no problem. You could use your digital, because it's obviously your private information that's stored on a computer system. But I can see now, John, I can't answer any questions tonight, John. I've got so many things to get through tonight, John. But ask me again in a couple of weeks' time, John. But thanks for the asking. Yeah, so anyway, we'll get past that one then. I've got Ami. Obviously, you know who he is when I read out the question. Right, do you know why car rentals has gone expensive in Spain compared to a few years ago? Now, that's a good one as well, because look, I've met many people this past couple of weeks that said the car hire in Spain is gone through the roof. Some places are charging triple like they used to. And doing a bit of searching around, obviously, we're all going to blame the COVID thing. But from what I can see, looking on the net, a lot of these car rentals are struggling. Obviously, they had to keep paying for these cars during COVID when they couldn't get anybody to use them. And most of them got rid of them. And now there seems to be a shortage of car rentals. And that's why it's all like supply and demand. And now they're saying, I don't know if it's an excuse, but they're saying now there's a shortage of cars. That's why they're charging so much. Hopefully now things seem to be getting a little bit better now. Maybe prices will go down. Now, it'd be interesting to know if you know any guys out there, any car rentals out there that are charging at a reasonable price or even cheap prices. I know you can get some apps. I think when Bruce and Ali were telling me, there's an app that you can use and it sort of compares prices, and you can do it that way. I can't remember the name of the app, but I'm sure they're. I don't. That's it. They said they're not watching tonight. They're doing something. Let's have a look on there. Car hire has gone up because of the shortage of new cars due to compute. That's probably right. Yeah, I mean that's another thing. I believe in China, one of their main what do you call it now? Computer disky things, like lots of Apple and PlayStation, things like that. The whole thing got burnt down, and yeah, there does seem to be a huge shortage, I should say, because I suppose thinking about a lot of, obviously all the new cars now have got all computer chips and things like that, so that's probably another reason, and that's why it come up as a supply and demand. About they're charging a lot more. So yeah, I mean that's all I can say. There's a global shortage apparently, but it'd be interesting to know. Sean, it's Taiwan. All right, supply and demand, waiting list 911. You want to buy a new car, warehouse fire. Yeah, I mean, I know, obviously, I think we all think, obviously, with the COVID, the whacking the prices up. I mean, it does affect, and I don't know if any of these big car rentals have gone under, because I never. Yep, David said chip shortage, warehouse fires, it's Yogi, and that's probably the main reason why these prices have gone up. And I think, yeah, a lot of people not. I mean, I don't want to particularly want to go and buy an electric car, but they're obviously trying to force us to buy one. Okay, how are we doing for time? We're all right. We're coming up to half the hour. And what I might get through them tonight now. Right. So we've done Almere. Now, Sally, what yearly income to live where you are would you recommend as a minimal? So what she's on about is what my yearly income would be if I wanted to be minimal. That is a hard one, and I've written down there what I pay. I think that's all I can go by, really. I mean, at the end of the day, it all depends on your lifestyle. I mean, I know that's difficult because some people like living out in the country and they can live off the land, and you could probably live really cheap. But obviously things have changed now. I mean, one of the worst things now, obviously, if you're not in the EU anymore, you've got to pay a lot more to get a visa. If you haven't got that type of income, you can't even get a visa. But what I can give you, Sally, is some idea of me and my wife, what we do on our yearly income. Now, we got a big villa which we own. We've got a swimming pool. We obviously got a car, and we like going out a lot, obviously, and we do like going out eating. So I would say our lifestyle is pretty not bad. I wouldn't be able to do any of this in the UK. We just couldn't afford it. So what I tend to do every month, I exchange £1,000, bring it over to Spain, and whatever the exchange rate, sometimes I get 200. I mean, the past year or so, I'm lucky to get 150 out of that, and that's always a bonus. But I think personally, for me myself, we need 20,000 a year really to live off, comfortably. And obviously, when we first arrived here, our private pensions weren't enough really, and we had to do a little bit of work. Obviously, that's changed now with the bloody visa thing, because you can't go and do odd jobs now anymore. If you come over on a non-lucrative visa, you're not out of work at all. So you do need a lot of money. Now, no doubt, people can live a lot less, but don't forget, this is for both of us. We used to put over, and I still do £1,000 a month, but obviously every now and again, when we got the insurances coming in and like the taxes coming in, we have to dip in and paying a little bit extra. And that's why I said about 20,000 a year, and we could live comfortably. We could live a lot less if we wanted to, but I haven't moved to Spain to not go out. This is what's all, to me, it's about when you're moving to another country, it's about your lifestyle. It's not moving from one thing to another. It's about trying to improve my lifestyle. So Sally, hopefully that's answered the question. I've got a few here. I've got Wayne. No, maybe he hasn't. I've gone from Flaminka. What's the cheapest I could go? I think he's on about a car now, isn't he? So we've still got the car thing. Hopefully, no doubt, some people will put about how much they spend a month. Obviously, on top of all this, you've got things like health insurance, especially if you've got private health insurance. Another thing you've got to think about, guys, especially if you don't speak much Spanish, is you need translator, especially if you go to the hospital. Now, that will vary on whereabouts you are in Spain. Now, I believe down in the south, the Costa del Sol area, you can get free translators. Now, that's what somebody's told me. I don't know how true that is, but here in Murcia, you got no chance. You got to pay for everything. So you do. I mean, the other thing is you do need transport. There is a Campo bus thing on Camposol for those that can't drive, are too old to drive. Obviously, there are a lot of people where this is what a lot about Camposol or other urbanizations. You find a lot of people will stick together and help people get about. But you do need things like a car. You can't. I think now you can't really live cheaply in Spain now. Obviously, another thing that's coming up lately a lot is the cost of fuel. As Stephen Manny was saying, that they got the oil in for the winter time. I think Steve said it cost. I think it's 84 cents a litre, 84 a litre or something like that. I might be wrong. So things are going up all the time. They're always going on about electric and the gas, aren't they? Never going to get any cheaper, unfortunately. So you do need a good sort of income, you know. And I don't think personally now you can live off your state pension, unfortunately. But no doubt there are people that do live off their state pension. And I say, good luck to you guys. So anyway, no more comments there. So, okay, we'll move on to the next question, which is, okay, we got one here. Oh yeah, Rob, are there any reputable rental management agencies on campus? So now Rob's from the US, so he's obviously using the rental management agency thing. I would just say any rental companies on Campus Sol. Now, I did put some stuff down here. Yes, I have. Can't find it. Yeah, I got it. Here it is. Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously, one of them is Another World Properties. Is one. Obviously, you know. Another one is Campus Sol Properties. Believe it or not. Now, obviously, there's some estate agents. I might be wrong. If they're watching, add it in. There's a lot of estate agents, obviously, say they do it, but they don't really. And to be quite honest, they were the only two I could see on campus. Now, I know, obviously, there are private ones, and I did find a couple of private sites that's worth looking at because they come up with the price in your face in euros and in pounds. So one of them is called Eye on Spain. So remember that. Eye on Spain. I've just got, we got some prices coming up now on the fuel thing. So Mandy said it was 83 cents per litre. And yeah, it was really cheap last year. How much is that? Right, and we're going into the litres thing now. Petrol, yeah, petrol's been going up as well lately. Obviously, another thing, if I'm right, I'll be honest, I just go into the garage. I put in 30 euros. I put £30 in the UK. I've been doing £30, and sometimes it lasts me a week. Sometimes it lasts me 2 weeks. And I just put in 30 euros. And I never really took much notice of it, but I know a lot of people like watching the prices, and they say, "Oh, that's that," and "Oh, petrol's that." I've got a diesel. Obviously, there's another thing in it. We all was told one time, buy a diesel car. It's clean and safe. Now it's the scourge of the earth. We've got to have electric. Costs more. Is it going to be any cheaper? I don't think it is. But anyway. So, anyway, going back to the rental agencies. Worth noting this down, guys, because I found it. I didn't know about it. but it's obviously an internet site called Eye on Spain, like the eyeball, Eye in Spain. And they give you the price, like I said, in pounds and in euros, and also it tells you if it's long term. Now, admittedly, there's a lot of places, especially on campus, they're already fully booked up. So it is a bit of a nightmare. Now, I think, oh yeah, another one. Another one was called Think Spain. Think Spain. There's only 15 there on campus, and looking at on the site, most of them have gone already. But obviously, if you keep looking at these sites, you might be lucky and get a break. And no doubt, hopefully, there's more. There's more out there. Obviously, I know there's a few people that do it privately. Now, the other thing that I can't even remember now, did I write it down from last week? I call it Airbnb, but you know what I'm on about. Somebody said they're pretty expensive. They could be. I mean, I couldn't believe how many are down in the port. And there's a few of these, all these fancy apps they got out these days that are trying to make things cheaper for you, but end up you paying out a ruddy fortune. Okay, so we've done that one. How are we doing for time? We're doing quite well. I didn't think I'll get through this far. Okay, Stuart's asking, what is the Wi-Fi generally like on campus? Good question, that, Stuart. So I've got mine down. Obviously, he's on about Wi-Fi, which is general Wi-Fi. I use CompuServe. It's $24.19 with the tax. That's just basic internet. That's not having a phone as well. And if you mention my name, Expat and Mazarron, I get a little bit of discount. Most appreciated. Now, obviously, there are two fast broadband companies on campus as well, called Telecable and Teletect. To be honest, guys, I think they're all the same, really. Every now and again, obviously, especially like in the summertime when there's so many people where the service can't cope with it. So if you're watching Netflix, you get a little circle and it goes there. But generally, I mean, I use it on YouTube and I'm using it on there now. And I'm down in the basement. I'm quite happy with it. I'm not a great lover of watching movies and things like that. My wife's upstairs now. She's watching Bruce Lee in Taiwan or whatever with the subtitles. She loves that stuff. But to me, I'm not worried about it. But obviously, when I'm uploading videos to YouTube and things like that, I'm quite happy with it. Rob's coming up with prices here. I take it you talk. Oh, right. Rob's on, but he's giving an equivalent there. 141 is $6.20 a gallon. Now, I would imagine, Rob, in the US, especially, you call it gasoline, don't you? Here, well, I fully call it here, but I know back in the UK, we call it petrol. But I know in your country, it's called gasoline or gas. Anyway, hopefully that's some interest to people. I'll just have a quick look on there about the electric. Yeah. I mean, electric. I mean, they've already changed the timings on the. I mean, I think it's Umbrella. This is the main. I'll probably pronounce that wrong. It's the main company here in Spain, and they've changed the times on it now, and we've found us personally is a little bit cheaper, not much. And also they've knocked off the. They've knocked it off. Sorry, they've half the tax on it as well. It was a little bit cheaper than we normally pay, but some other people were saying it's double, you know. And I think what it is, they haven't really made it known to people. Look, because I get my bill on my phone. Some people still get it sent for the post. That's fantastic. And I know if young Harvey's watching, he's got an app, and he can actually see what he's burning during the day, sort of things. Is quite handy to know. And I think what's happening, some people are forgetting the new timings. And don't ask me now because it's upstairs, the timings. Now, the Spanish government have actually said they're on about buying it back to make it state-owned again. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Probably is, I think, in one sense. I think it does need to be controlled. I think all these private companies, they always make out it's cheaper, but when you look at it in the long run, it's not really, is it? And at the end of the day, electric and gas always going to go up, unfortunately, because we're breeding like chickens, aren't we? So anyway, I've got, anyway, so Stuart, the Wi-Fi is all right. It's not 100% perfect, but what I do like about companies, so if you have got a problem, that you can send a text and they're there. Now, I can remember freaking BT, when I got a problem with BT, you had to wait a couple of weeks for the blood to come out. So a little bit different here in Spain, thankfully, on those sort of things. So Gen X working, I'm watching from my workplace. You don't work too hard. I know you're going back to the UK for a rest. Let's have a quick look here, see what's going on here. I'm just so the IVA, £25 a year, including catch up. Oh, yeah, that's we're talking about the telly thing. Yeah, obviously, yeah. I'm just reading what Mandy's saying there. 15 degrees, yes. I mean, and I'll be honest, guys. This week here in Spain, I've noticed it's what I like about not like it. I have noticed the temperature's dropped. I think it was Tuesday morning. I took Bonnie out. I put my fleece on. That's the first sign. I mean, I'm still in my shorts and my sandals, but I don't think it'll be long now before the trousers and the socks will be back on. But at the moment, it's all lovely during the daytime, but the weather has changed. I think mainly it's because the nights are starting to draw in a bit now. So yeah, that's good. Do you watch now? Can't stand Sky Sports. I hate sports. Don't see the point of it, but some people love it. Go up to the bar, watch it in there for nothing. Okay, yeah. Stuart, well, I use VPN. Yeah, a lot of people do that. Gasolino, yes, that's it. Stephen was in the pool today, the mad fool with his daughter, swimming around like a fish. Wouldn't get me in there. Too cold. It's October. Nutters. So anyway, where did we get to? We did the Wi-Fi. Sally's got another one. Is it true that many expats become alcoholics? Good question, that, Sally. I have to be honest. Tonight I did meet a guy coming out the off license because we've got an off license here on A. It's got some name to it. Can't think what it's called now, but he come out to be quite honest, I think one of the main things is obviously old people, if they've been married a long time and their partner, this is what happened to this guy. I don't want to say his name because he's a lovely guy. He lost his wife 6 months ago. He's just lost his dog recently, so he's by himself. And he's just drinking his sorrows, really. Harmless, but obviously people fall over and hurt themselves. I do know, thankfully, it's not like a kingdom of alcoholics. I mean, one of the main things here in Spain, obviously, you can buy drink quite cheaply, especially spirits and things like that. But saying that, the other night, and I know Steve Manning can vouch for me for this, there's an Indian restaurant down at the port that charge really expensive drinks. Now, I met a guy the other night just across the road from me. We got an Indian restaurant. I don't know what's about Indian restaurants, but they seem to charge a lot of money for drink. Now, he bought a bottle of beer, €4. I mean, I don't mind paying a cup of coffee for $1.20 or something like that. But €4 for a bottle of beer. Now, a bottle of beer, normally, as far as I'm concerned, it's half a pint. I mean, I'm not even a drinker anymore, but there are quite a few people, unfortunately, who do hit the bottle. I don't think, I think they just keep themselves. I wouldn't say it's a major problem here. I mean, thankfully, we don't get any of the drunkards, which is good to know. So, Sally, I've done that bit. Okay, I couldn't believe it. How are we doing? We're all right. I thought I wouldn't get through all this far. and it seems I got a lot more than I thought. Okay, now this is something that has cropped up, I believe. David, would you say lots have returned to the UK since Brexit, and in general, would you down to funds and been unavailable? Now, I think somebody else mentioned, I can't mention his name, but he knows who he is, who I found a post. Obviously, the newspapers back in the UK have a field day when they get a whiff of people going back to the UK because they can't afford to live here anymore. And I've just got this headline that come up. I mean, droves really. But what I have heard recently, this past month, obviously a lot of people that have been living under the radar in Spain for years, and they're mainly on about old people, disabled people, people like that. Well, not even that. A lot of people just can't be bothered to be a resident. But they're going to find it hard now to still carry on living in Spain, and they've been trying to apply for residency, and once they're turned down, that's it. Now the governments have set up a site to help out, especially disabled people and old people that just can't look after themselves, and they set up a fund to try to make them stay here in Spain. But obviously, a lot of people that can't be residents, they've been given sort of notice. And I also heard recently that the police are doing a lot of checks lately, and I think they're checking your TIE, your resident cards, because I think you've only got another 2 or 3 weeks, and it has been said that Spain will start to, what's the word for it? Deport people, not residents. Not residents of Spain. I know I've known people, obviously there's still people that have done all this last year. They're safe, but there's a lot of people that's tried for residency this year, thinking they'll still get it. They've been turned down. They've been told you can't go for it again. You've got to go back. Obviously, it's upsetting for a lot of people, especially been living here for years, but it's something that you obviously should have sorted out while you was there. No doubt it's going to cause a lot of controversy, especially I think it'll be in the next 2 or 3 weeks when they will start to evict people that are not residents anymore. But I think droves, I think that's a bit of a strong word. I know there are some people I've met here on campus that are going back to the UK, and I think they're being polite about it. They're not sort of saying we can't afford to live here anymore because we're not residents or whatever, and they're just going back to move on with their life. Now, obviously, a lot of people, a lot younger, can do that. Obviously, people like me, I mean, I could go back to the UK if I wanted to, but I'll be honest, I don't know if I could. I'm not going to buy a property, that's for sure. No doubt I'll get some rental place, maybe a beach hut up in John O'Groats, maybe. I don't know. But David, yeah, I mean, I don't believe about the droves of people going back to the UK, but I know there are people returning back because of mainly because they're not residents. They're not obviously funds. They can't live on the money they've got now because things have changed a little bit. Unfortunately, that's made things so difficult. Anyway, I think I had some more questions there, so I haven't run out. So what I will say from now, which is, let's make a note of this because I spend, you can't believe I spend a lot of time on this, and it does take up my time. But if I put down the time now, so if you've got any questions, what I will try and do, guys, is I'll mark them down for next week. I'll just get the banner. So I'll put it up now. I'll go back to the questions. Right, what we got here? Right, okay, we're talking about dancing around the bars now. I don't know what's all that about. Okay, now I did find some other questions that somehow I've mislaid look, see, got all these bits of paper here. Right, on there, I've got Stuart. If you buy a property, then you're still only allowed to spend. So we're going back to, I think, the 180-day thing, or the 90, 100. I mean, it is a little bit confusing. The only way I can explain it, and that's what Stuart's on about, really, because it is a bit confusing. They don't make it bloody simple, do they? But virtually, you're 90 days in, 90 days out. 90 days in, 90 days out. Obviously, if you don't spend 90 days, you've got to sort of keep count of them. I mean, you could do 2 weeks in, and then you go back, and then you could come back, I don't know, months later and do another 2 weeks. That sort of thing, until your 90 days are up. But the only thing you've got to be so careful of, guys, if you do go over by one frigging day, you can be banned, you can be penalised. If you're applying for a visa, you won't be able to apply for a visa if you break the frigging 180-day rule. Yeah, it is a little bit confusing, but that's the only way I can explain it, really. 90 days in, 90 days out. So you can still spend 6 months of the year in Spain, but you can't do it, obviously, 180 days anymore. It's the 90-day thing. So you do have to be so careful. But don't forget also, guys, that when you're going through passport control, they are stamping your passports. So always check out the UK Gov site about passports, because they've got this thing about you've got to have 2 pages empty now. And I think another thing that cropped up a while back is they started stamping the passports, or start issuing the passports on the wrong frigging date. So you've got to check that UK Gov site to make sure your passport is fully up to date. But yeah, don't think you can sort of, because it's all digital now as well. I mean, I know people still coming through and they're not checking properly, but they are making a record of it. So please, guys, don't get caught out, because once you get chucked out, you won't be back. It's like a club, in it, eh? You can't upset the club. So, how we doing? We're all right. Malcolm and Carol. I think I did answer this last week, but I want to mention it again. Sean, do you think they will ever start the resurfaced main road through from today? Now, what she's on about there was that the council has said they've agreed to the fund. It's not coming out of. There's another fund that Campusol are being pledged. I think it's 3 million to do other things. But this resurfacing, this has come from another fund, and they've said they're going to re-tarmac the dual carriageway from C right up to D. They're not going to do, unfortunately, not going to do the side roads or nothing. They're just going to do the main drag. It does need tarmacking. When that is, that hasn't been given a date. Now, I haven't, unfortunately, I didn't make a note of it, but there is a guy on campus who runs a website. I forget what it's called now. I did write it down. This is why I want to get everything typed out so I can find it quickly. But there's a guy on there, and he makes a record of all the council meetings. And he translates it into English and tells what's going on in campus at the moment. But that's one of the things that's been pledged. Now, a couple of weeks ago, apparently all the Spanish parties, we've got Vox and whatever else it's called, have come up to campus, and they're looking at, obviously, because elections are coming up for next year, I believe, are looking at, obviously, the new program of getting people to vote for them, and they're listening to all the stories about what campus was like 20 years ago. Will that ever get resolved? I don't know, but things are moving forward a bit. But Carol and Malcolm, that is supposedly true. They are going to tarmac from C to D. Right, how we doing? We got 6 minutes. I've got Peter here. So hopefully we can get through that. I'll just have a quick look through the old what time is Alan's shop going? Okay. That's obviously questions for which is good. Okay, so Peter's asking the car buying process. What do you pay? Is it like the UK road tax, insurance? You know, it depends on the car, but how much roughly do you pay for? All right, then that's something a bit different, right? So what he's asking is the buying process of buying a car. Is it similar to the UK? And I would say yes and no. If you're buying a car from a dealer, it's very similar to the UK. I know there's a couple of things slightly different. Apparently, when you buy a car here in Spain, you definitely have to have an NIE. Now, some say you have to have a Padron, a new Padron. When I bought our car, we didn't have to show our Padron, but apparently you're supposed to have a Padron as well to buy the car. Why, I don't know. And the process was pretty similar to the UK on that. If you buy a second-hand car, total different kettle of fish. I haven't got the time to explain that. So all I'm going to say is, if you're buying a car, buy it off a dealer. It just saves all the hassle. It's so complicated, and I haven't got the time to talk about that. But the things like the car tax and insurance are about the same. Obviously, the car insurance you can obviously go online, and I use IBEX. You get some good deals in there. I think anything I have noticed, other than if you do it for the bank, that's different. But you usually here in Spain, they want the money up front. You pay for the whole year. I might be wrong on that, but that's what I have to do. I know with the bank you can pay monthly. And the car tax. Now, as far as I know, if you've got one of these super duper electric cars that does it all, you still got to pay car tax on it. Now, obviously, in the UK, I think when I left, I think I didn't have to pay nothing on my other car I had. But here in Spain, it seems that you still pay. It's not a lot. I mean, I think I got a small car, obviously a four-seater. It's got wheels on it, and I think it cost me like €56 a year on tax. Obviously, it's a diesel car. No doubt, in the next couple of years, the diesel car will start to get hammered. But at the moment, I would say it's very similar to the UK. And Graham's already asked me why cars are so expensive. But we sort of did cover that, Graham. If you go back into this chit chat, we're talking about rentals. There does seem to be a global shortage on cars. Would you believe? And it's all to do with a computer chip. But yeah, Campusole Fat Crusader, or whatever that's about. Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the man. Well done, Kev. You're a top man. You come out. What I was talking about the road tarmacking. If you put in Campusole Fat Crusader, it's on Campusole. If you connect to the community, the guy there, I forget his name. He gives you all the information that's been going on and things that's going to be going in the next couple of years, what things they're going to get on and do. But yeah, so that's good. I've just seen about the mosquito. Yeah, the mosquitoes are still out. Now, what I will say, just before I disappear, there's a wasp that comes from North Africa, because one of the girls that comes out of us on the campus, so explorers, got stung by this wasp, and her leg came up like a massive blister, and she got some medicine or something to bring it down. But apparently her mum in the UK had exactly the same thing, and the doctor there said there's a new strain of wasp that's flown up from North Africa. Obviously, it's made its all way. It's up to UK. Obviously, to do with the warmer climates that we're getting. So be warned when you see this wasp. Obviously, it's not going to look like the ordinary wasp. From what I know, it's got long legs on it. That's all I can say. It's still got black and white stripes, but it's got really long legs. It's like daddy long legs thing. If it stings you, you're going to know about it. So I think I've done it. I've got through all the questions and the questions I thought. I've done it. Now I've got no questions now. But I know I've got questions for next week now. But guys, I want to thank everybody that's stayed on tonight. Most appreciate it. Top people. I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you like I used to. but I like to get. Well, I think I'm enjoying this questions and answer thing. I don't know it all. Hopefully, in the list there, some other people put us on some factual information as well. But I want to thank everybody, and I can see Thomas is coming up there. He's getting a bit of advice on his car as well, which is good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. It's time to put on the flashing lights. No, don't put on the flashing lights, but the flashing lights are coming on because it's time to say adios, amigos. Thank you very much. I'll catch you next week with some more questions. Most appreciate it. Keep watching and stay safe. Here we go. Adios.